Basically, all we did was move the bar in front of the TV so we could have the nice graphics. Nice, right?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm so sorry we've been out for 3 weeks. It's pretty much my fault. I thought I could handle the new look and work the equipment, and I'm a flipping moron. I learned quickly that I couldn't. So we're going to catch up, and this is going to be our new facelift for our new podcast, For the Love of Dog. Again, welcome. My name is Steve McLean. I'm a co-founder. I'm here with Gary Newcomb, our dog trainer. Gary, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. You're looking good, as
And you?
always.
And you?
And again, Gary, thanks for being so patient 3 weeks ago. For anyone that tuned in to the shit show, was that 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out the equipment and the camera, and it was just horrible. And I'm calling poor Sam on his day off, and he's trying to hang out with his beautiful girlfriend, Nicole. Sam's so flippin' patient. He's just like, if you would have called me reversed, I would have, Sam, figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not here. I'm days off, man.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
You had your chance.
He's a very sweet guy, very patient guy. Anyway, we're back, and if you're watching live on Instagram, please text us a question. I promise we will move you up, and we will answer your question.
Front of the line.
Otherwise, we're going to be asking questions that we got like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We have a lot of questions. That's the air conditioner kicking on.
Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't pick up too much. If it does, it's too bad because it's hot. It's hot in here. Anyway, so you ready for a question, Gary?
I am. Fire it.
All right, man. Susie and Maggie asks the question, how to work with a dog that is overprotective of their human? We talk about this a lot. Again, Susie and Maggie, thank you for asking the question. How to work with a dog that is overprotective of their human?
Well, what's happened is the dog has found a hole in your armor, as I like to say. You know,
hole in the armor.
The dog's looking for any opportunity they can to give themselves a promotion up in the pack.
Right.
So if they feel that you are not a good security guard, if you're not powerful enough in their mind, then they're going to step up and try to be the security guard role. And in that, that can be dangerous. That dog will keep promoting itself till it will handle things the way it wants to handle it.
Right.
And, that's how people end up getting bit.
Sure.
So what you have to do is take that position back. It's like if you're the boss and an employee comes up and says, now I'm the boss. What, are you going to take that? No, you're going to shoot it down. So when the dog tries to step up into a power correction position, you need to correct that.
Right.
So, and you need to come in at a level above what they are. So, if, that's a common one, that the dog is going to be at a fairly high level.
Right.
So at that point, you're going to have to give that dog a powerful correction. You're going to have to come in on it. You want to see its ears fold back. You want to see its head go down so that it knows, if I try to step into this position, the real alpha is going to come back down and correct me.
Right. I would even take that a step further. So I think a lot of times humans perceive that the dog's protecting the human.
Mm-hmm.
I use the example, I could probably take your dog, and tie it to a tree and get the same reaction from the dog.
Just general nervousness.
We've talked about this before, how dogs put a radius around them, and anything that gets inside that radius is going to get not attacked necessarily, but a strong reaction.
Yeah. Well, the reaction depends on what the dog's going to do. There's lots of dogs.
Right.
You walk up and it's a lab, and that lab's going to wave its tail, and it's going to.
Right.
So, yeah, the nervousness is what I see a lot, is going to drive a dog to have that reaction.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more nervous the dog, the tighter.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry. The more nervous the dog is, instead of having maybe a 5-foot radius, it's going to be 100
Anything
yards.
I can see, smell, or hear.
Right. I mean,
And
Nigel the Chihuahua is like that. Oh, damn it. By the way, sidebar, we did the DNA test on Buster, and I've said since we rescued Buster that Buster was a min pin. Very controversial in the house. I went way out on the limb. PJ said it was a Chihuahua. So who do you think was right?
You.
No, damn it, no.
I said you because you're here, but I was thinking her.
Damn it. It's pretty much all Chihuahua. Buster.
What's he crossed with? Anything?
It's like, X amount of short hair Chihuahua, X amount of long hair Chihuahua. He's pretty much a goddamn Chihuahua.
Wow.
I couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah, you could have. You could have said he was a husky.
Yeah, well, I was just kind of surprised, to be honest with you.
He does have the look.
Anyway, getting back to this question, you're absolutely right. It has to do with the dog's, his dog's nervous because the dog thinks it's in charge. Absolutely. But I think a lot of times people think it's cute, oh, my dog's protecting me.
Yeah.
Not understanding what the dog's really doing is protecting its surroundings.
Itself and you.
Yeah, whatever's inside
Yes.
that. You know, it could be a plastic spoon.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Anyway, that's a good question, Susie and Maggie. Thank you.
So yeah, take control back.
They also ask a question about food aggression. It's almost the same thing. I'm going to skip that one and go to another question here. I don't think I like that question. Okay, this is the question. I love this question. Very entertaining. Cat Valians asked the question, how do I get my dog excited about leaving the house? She is so stubborn about it. Let me repeat that question.
Okay.
Because it's a very odd question. How do I get my dog excited about leaving, Gary? First of all, why does it have to be excited?
Yeah, we lost our dog.
That's okay. It's coming back.
Yeah, that's the first question is why does your dog have to be excited when you leave the house? If your dog's excited, it's probably going to make more of an issue for you that you're going to have to knock the dog down during distractions.
I would love it if the dog wasn't excited, right?
Your dog should not walk because it loves to walk. Your dog should walk because you, as the alpha, says it's time to walk. So if your dog doesn't want to walk, you strap a leash to it, you start walking. You know, when your dog makes a positive association to it, the dog will start wanting to walk.
But do you think she's asking that question specifically, or do you think it just didn't? To me, it's actually kind of good that you kind of went there, because to me it was like just leaving the house, period.
Yeah.
But you think you think she's specifically talking about just, hey, I want to go on my pack walk, and my dog's not excited
the dog
about it.
probably digs in about anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, the pack walk is where you're going to have to do it twice
Sure.
a day.
And by the way,
You go to the vet once a month, maybe, you know, a couple times a year. But
Yeah.
the walk, you're going to be dragging that dog out twice a day. So it's going to be just the thing that you have to do the most.
Yeah.
And strap the dog up, start walking, you know. Walk 10 feet, use treats. You know, if I want to get a dog excited about something, I use treats. If you have a reward behind it, it's going to make them more apt to want to do it. You don't want to go to work if they're not going to pay you.
Right.
You go to work for the paycheck.
Right.
So you want to flop the dog's, you know, association to walks, make a reward.
Well, you bring up a good topic there. And so, Kat, I want you to understand that the reason Gary's being very specific, it's not such a big deal that the dog doesn't want to leave the house. However, it is a big deal if it's a problem on the pack walk.
Yeah, if your dog's resisting you, it's kind of a general problem. Unto itself, it's not that big a deal.
Right.
But your dog should not be trying to resist you in anything.
Right. Because,
So-
right, and we talk about that a lot. In other words, whatever the human says is what we're doing.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. No, a dog's life, knowing what the alpha wants, giving the alpha that, getting the reward.
Right.
If you're not absolutely clear on what you want or you don't demand it, you know, the dog's
Right.
not going to give you what you want. You've now voided the second step. So.
Yeah. And even if you make a bad decision, the dog doesn't know you made a bad decision.
No,
You have to carry it
it's
through
my
anyway.
decision.
Right.
That's what the dog needs to respect. It's not the individual act. The dog
Right.
probably doesn't know what the decision is.
Right.
But
Right.
yes, whatever I say goes. Rule number 2, see rule number 1.
And I hopefully, oh yes, Miss Nicole.
Mackenzie McLean says, I never get excited to walk.
You haven't walked with me, Mackenzie.
Well, I think Mackenzo brings up a good point. When I first read the question, you know, it's like, well, I don't like leaving the house either.
Yeah.
Is it that? Is just the dog just would rather sit around all day?
Yeah.
Which,
You know, personality types extend into dogs. You know,
Absolutely.
There's lazy dogs. There's,
Absolutely.
you know, more energetic dogs. If you look at a pack, you'll see.
Sure.
You know, the puppy sitting there. There will be one puppy that's just like a lump. And then
Right.
there'll be the other one that's hopping around, the other one trying to jump out the gate. They all have different energy levels. So
Right.
it's natural.
And we tell people that, right? We tell people, hey, when you're going to get a puppy, if you're a couch potato, pick
Find
the dog.
one that matches your energy
Yeah,
level.
don't get the one that's like all over the place. I don't care how cute it is.
Yeah.
But people always use their eyes,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Miss Nicole.
Sean the McLean says, for people that are new to dog ownership, how rough is too rough on the walk?
Oh, good
How rough
question.
is too rough?
I think what
Like too many corrections?
yeah, I think what Sean's saying is, and in fact, that's a good question, Sean. Here's a really good example. Sasha, who you tried to walk, remember over at Joanne's house?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mama dog, yeah.
I went over there a couple days ago, pretty hot, and whenever there's a dog that's super skittish about wanting to walk, using your example earlier, that you never lose that battle. You have to make that dog walk. So I think Sean's question is, once you decide that you're going to do this, maybe you sit next to the dog for 10, 15 minutes, and then maybe you take another 5 minutes to get the equipment on.
I'm with you.
And then the dog's going to fight it for a long time sometimes. And the thing that started to worry me was it was pretty hot that day.
Yeah.
And the dog was getting overheated. I was waiting for the dog to get tired so that we could go on the walk.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, to Sean's question, at a certain point, I got worried. I have to win this battle, but I don't want the dog to get,
At what price?
Yeah, right. So I was constantly worried about that. Plus, I'm looking at the dog's gums, making sure they don't get white, And it worked out, but I was really worried. So Sean, the answer to the question is, you want to make sure the dog stays safe, but you have to figure out a way to win, and you have to figure out a way to end it on a good note.
Yep.
So maybe you don't get all of what you wanted to accomplish in your brain, but at least you ended the drill on a good note.
I think that an important part is that you set up the perimeters before so that the dog can succeed. If you go in and you have a dog who's anchored down and they don't want to walk, if you go right to we're going to walk, then you're setting yourself up for failure.
And I make that mistake a lot.
So like you said, you go in, you try to warm the dog up, you feel him out. With that dog in particular, I didn't try to walk it. What I did is I took it into Joanna's backyard and kind of tried to just be in proximity, get it to follow me a little bit.
Right.
I didn't try to hit the street with it because I knew it wasn't at that level. So I knew if I tried, I was going to drag it up and down her street.
Well, guess what?
Yeah. So the good news is you didn't get, animal control called on you.
Well, we actually we walked.
Yeah.
We walked. It
9 times out of 10
it wasn't pretty. 3? Oh, 3 minutes. Oh my goodness, so quick.
I had a dog it was one of your dogs that was being boarded down in San Clemente, and they have that vet's office down there. It's 3 stories high. They do a lot of the boarding on the 3rd floor. I went down and evaluated. I said, okay, walk it, do this and that. And the walkers were going down and sitting in the lobby with the dog because the dog didn't want to walk. So they're like, we got a bed set up, we got toys, all this stuff for the dog. So I lost my crap. I went back down there and said, look, we got to walk this dog. I strapped a leash to it. The vet's office said, oh, it likes to take the elevator. So I drug the dog down 3 flights of stairs.
Right. Now that's a really good example of were you worried any part of that you were gonna hurt the dog? Okay.
At that point, I had already met with the dog. I evaluated. I know the dog could walk. It just didn't want to walk. And now it's had a week of people just sitting in the lobby with it, giving it treats and toys, so it really didn't want to walk.
Right.
So yeah, at that point, it became a battle of wills, and I literally physically drug that dog. When you have to drag a dog, first, a dog in a collar that you're pulling, it doesn't choke them. The mechanics of it, it's going to pull the muscles on the back of their neck. It's not pulling against the front.
I think people think you're being cruel.
Exactly. Right. So the first instinct is that you're going to choke the dog out.
Yeah, I want everyone to understand that just because your eyes are telling you one thing doesn't mean that. I mean, we do know what we're doing. We would never hurt a dog. Yeah. Right. I mean, so I want everyone to understand.
No, I had a lady on a walk try to Karen on me this week because I scared a dog, and she thought, oh my God, you're being so mean to that dog because the dog rolled over on its back and it got scared while you were standing over it.
Right.
So yeah. But anyways, you do have to push the dog. If you know the dog will walk, you have to force the dog out. Again, if they see anything as an option, they're like, teenagers. If I see this as an option, you can expect that I'm going to do it every day.
Sure.
But when they wholeheartedly believe that option is taken away, they'll give it up.
Yeah, they do.
The dog will start walking.
The dogs are smart. They know if I act this way to get out of something I don't want to do, they're going to repeat that until it doesn't.
No, everything's a battle of wills with them.
I think we have time for one more question. One more? Okay, here we go. Thanks, Sam.
Come on, Sam. Let us have one more.
The Cammy asked the question, marking, ? Rescued a 4-year-old recently, neutered. Is there hope to breaking this dog of marking? Should I use a belly band? Marking. People need to understand there's a difference between marking and emptying the bladder.
Yes.
If the dog's having a problem emptying the bladder, you're not. First of all, there's no good routine going on. right?
Yep.
And then secondly, if you do have a decent routine, the dog will give you hints that it needs to go back out. But Gary, what I want you to talk about is why dogs mark, which is totally different than going to the bathroom, and why dogs mark inside the house. That's what I want you to focus on. So
Okay.
So the Cammy, listen to this.
I think the marking in general is all the same. The motivation behind it is all the
Oh,
same.
absolutely.
So a dog smells a scent, wants to own that scent, and wants to put their scent on top, so now it's mine. So when that dog comes back, they get to find out, hey, you've been taken over. They've
Right.
raised their position. You know, that's what that's all they're trying to do is raise their position all the time.
Right.
So the dog's instinct is to try to take it. That's the instinct. And
Right.
some dogs do it more. Males tend to do it more, but females do mark. People think that females don't, but females absolutely mark.
I'm glad you said that. I want everyone who's listening to understand that females will mark as well. It's not just a male thing.
No, it's a personality thing.
Right.
So how I break a dog of marking is when you start your walk, you give them some time off. You get to go do whatever you want in the front yard.
Right.
You got a 6-foot, leash. You can go anywhere you want. You can walk in front. You can walk in back. You can smell. You can do it. I'm gonna give you about, if you're working, I'll give you 5 minutes.
Right.
And after that, we're going on duty.
Right.
And it's like a military march.
Right.
You don't get to do what you want when you're marching. You got to follow
You
somebody.
already had the free time.
Yes.
Right.
So dog will smell a spot and try anchoring down real quick. Oh, a dog peed here. I'm going to go right here. I'm
Right.
going to drag that dog away from the spot. There is absolutely 0% chance that I'm going to let the dog pee on a spot where another dog peed.
Right.
I'm going to pick my spot. And
Right.
of course, my spot, a dog may have peed previously, but it's
Sure.
my spot.
Right.
So you can have this spot. I'm going to give you, at this point, 30 seconds.
Right.
And then you can do what you want. And then I'm going to say, come. I'm going to start walking. I'm not even going to ask you to come. I'm not talking you into it. I'm not,
Sure.
waiting till you're done.
Right.
We're walking.
Right.
So you break marking by not allowing marking.
Right.
So they pick a spot. You don't stop. You pick a spot. They may have to go to the bathroom. But you can pick a spot 10 feet further and that it will work just the same.
That's right.
Or a dog can go to the bathroom while they walk.
Right. I tell people when you're on the walk, if you want to take a break and let them go to the bathroom, you actually have to make them understand, hey, we're stopping because I'm saying it's okay, and
Yep.
I'm allowing you, I'm sharing my land with you. And
I
you
actually
can go.
use okay as my command when I'm walking. Okay.
Right.
And I'll kind of push the leash a little and force them over into the grass. And, within a month, the dogs know okay means that I can go to the bathroom.
That means you got a little free time.
Yep.
Right. And then once you have them back, then it's back to the militant
Yes.
behavior. And people need to practice that kind of thought process.
Yes.
That everything is mine. I'm
I am
allowing
controlling
you
everything
aspect.
aspect.
Right.
And the walking is hard because people think that they're confused about what the purpose of a walk is.
Right.
It's for your dog to get out and smell stuff and have a good time and all that. It's
No.
not.
That's right.
It should not be. The
Right.
purpose of a walk is that you
Take a drink.
Take a drink. So the purpose of the walk is that you are going to get your dog exercise. You're going to get them balanced. You're going to
Right.
get them when they burn off the energy. They're going to be a lot more dialed into you.
Right.
And
Well, the answer is the reason why you walk your dog is because you're reenacting the pack walk that the wolf does naturally, right?
Yes.
Right. All right, guys, we're going to take a break right here. Please, on Monday, please check out the podcast that's going to land on Monday. You'll see the video and then you'll hear the audio. For the love of dogs, please subscribe. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in for the love of dog. Totally good news. New Road is back with their food. However, it's only treats. That's okay. We love the treats. You saw Gary try them months ago. Either way, doesn't matter. They're great. They're terrific. Treats only. The promo code is REDDOG15, all caps. Type that in when you're ordering. You get a discount, plus we get a little bit of a donation. We love it. Please check it out. New Road. Thanks, everybody. Guys, thanks so much for still tuning in. Hopefully we haven't lost anybody yet. Guess who just turned up in the studio? Our very own PJ Rosh.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, PJ?
I'm doing well.
What do you think of the new studio?
I like it. It's just a lot of lights going on.
A lot of
here.
lights, a lot of heat.
A lot of lights, a lot of
Hot
heat.
mic, hot mic.
I might have to wear my sunglasses.
That's
next
right,
time.
man. It gets hot. It gets hot in here. Well, could you believe it took us a full year to figure out we should just move the bar in front of the TV, right? How come I didn't think of that?
We're in the slow learning group. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot better than the shit show 3 weeks ago. You know, it's better production value.
It's because
for
Monty
sure.
Video's here.
That's 100% the reason why it's better. But anyway, we just finished up with a round of dog behavior questions, and I think PJ, I think you had some things that you want to talk about this week. Right?
Well, a couple of good things that happened this week. We've had Risa, one of our long timers, a dog that we've had here for at least 3 years. I think it's been almost 3 years.
Risa got adopted, huh?
And Risa got adopted.
I think we have a
so
photo
I
of
think
Risa.
that was really cool. She got adopted. It was a foster.
That's
Oops, that's
Doogie.
Doogie.
There's Risa.
There's Risa. Her foster failure, Tammy, her foster, who's been amazing, who's fostered a lot for us. So she decided that she couldn't part with Risa yesterday at a meet and greet, so she decided to adopt her. So
Nice.
Yay!
And
Risa.
wait, I know you said it already, but I'm sorry.
It's been over 2 years. It's been probably almost 3 years that
Wow.
we've had Risa.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, that's a huge thing. It was a huge thing for her to get adopted. And then another one we had very excited is Doogie got adopted.
There's
as well.
Doogie.
And we've had Doogie for about a year, but and that's his foster, another foster failure, Jack, also a really great foster for us. We've had Doogie only a year, which still sounds like a long time.
But Doogie was a handful.
He was a handful, and he just needed a specific. We take a long time. And same thing with Risa. We don't just adopt them out. We want them to have the right home. So
Right.
Doogie had to be at a place that had a lot of land. He doesn't do well in the suburbs, cities. He's scared of everything. So he actually comes off a lot more reactive than he really is. So he currently is with probably like 10 other dogs, and he's on a lot of land, and he's just he's having a great time, and that was the right home for him. And Jack realized that, and we realized that, so Doogie got adopted.
Yeah, Doogie is one of those dogs that he, like you said, he needs like a lot of land. He needs a job. He needs to run and run and run and run. And he just flipped out. I think, did we have him here, our very first live adoption streaming event?
He did come, but he didn't stay.
He did not even get out of the car.
And then we did eventually have him at one of our other,
The one in Maria's house, right?
one of our
he did
other
well
studios.
there. He actually did okay there.
And he did okay there, but Gary Newcomb was handling him, and we let him calm down.
But on the way back, it was a shit show.
He doesn't do well in the car, so
Poor guy.
He's scared of everything. So again, it was really good. He got the right home, and that's what we pride ourselves. We don't just flip dogs out to anybody. And he did get adopted here. And the person actually was right for
Forgot
him.
about that.
He was right for
Forgot
him.
about that.
But where he lived was not right for him.
That's a crazy story too. So basically, where he lives, they're doing this in Irvine, where it's an apartment complex, and they actually take a DNA swab of the dog, so that if they find poop anywhere around the complex that wasn't picked up,
They
test it, and there's a heavy fine
Right.
if it shows up. So what happened was we adopted Doogie to this guy. This guy was perfect. Totally knew how to take care of Doogie. But when the landlord came over to swab Doogie, it did not go well.
Well, Doogie had
He had to go to the
He had to
office.
go there, so of course the walkover
Totally forgot about
wound
that.
him up.
Yeah.
And like I said, he comes off as a bad dog. He's not a bad
He's a
dog.
sweet
He
dog.
just really, he's so scared of everything. So passing other dogs or cars or people, he just doesn't know how to act. So
Right.
So anyway, that was why it was huge for us. So Risa and Doogie were amazing that they got adopted this week. We're so happy for both of them. So.
Speaking of which, how many dogs did we adopt this week in there to save?
That's a great question. So we just, we're just finished up with July. So we saved 25 dogs. So that means we took either rescued them, took them back into the rescue, whatever. And then we adopted out 34 dogs. So that was for the month of July. So we continue our streak of actually adopting out more dogs than we're bringing in, which is really unusual for us. So
That's right. We're in the negative.
Yeah.
How do we make that happen?
I don't know. It's good. We're down to about 40.
Where are these negative dogs at?
44 dogs or something. Well, we have some in the rescue.
No, I know.
So
we have inventory. We have
dogs. We're looking for inventory.
Right.
So let's So that
Gonna switch gears?
Yeah, let's switch gears. Those
What
are
are you
all
gonna
good
do?
news
What are you gonna
for
do?
us. There was been wanting to talk to you about this story from Port St. Lucie. I think it's
Why are the stupid stories always in Florida?
well,
What's up with Florida?
I don't know. That's another whole other
wing of the United
podcast, I
States.
think. But this one was interesting because an 82-year-old man fatally shot a neighbor and his 11-year-old daughter over a dog dispute. And what caught my eye is it wasn't the dog that hurt the humans. It was this 82-year-old man that was pissed off because this neighbor had reported his dog for, I don't know, attacking or biting or something his mother previously. And so I guess there was a dangerous dog hearing, and the 82-year-old man who owned the dog lost.
Right.
And he was pretty pissed off, and so he went over and he shot the neighbor who complained, and
Jesus.
his 11-year-old daughter who was there. Now, on the
Wait,
outside...
Wait. He shot the 11-year-old daughter, too?
Yeah, he shot
my
everybody that was in the
God.
house.
Oh, Jesus.
And now, that it is horrific, and it is very sad, but, and it may sound completely crazy, and being in Florida, maybe we just...
It's just a Tuesday in Florida.
Check that, tick that off for that. But you and I have been through a dangerous dog hearing.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been through a couple of them, because
They're very frustrating.
They're very frustrating.
To say the least.
And it's funny because part of ours, it was a completely stupid thing, but it was a neighbor. Her dog was off leash in our yard. Dogs got into a fight, and her father-in-law reached in to
Right.
break it up, which we
Right.
all know as dog
don't do that.
people, you don't do.
Right.
And he got bit. Now, he says he doesn't know what dog bit him, but it wasn't his dog, which, was crazy. The whole thing was stupid. And that neighbor went to the media, to the HOA, to animal control. And so we spent about a year and a half.
Needless to say, she made our lives miserable for a good year.
Yeah,
year
she
and a
was like
half,
this,
for sure.
wanted to be this Joan of Arc, this,
Right. Right.
whatever. I can't think of the word that I want to use. What is it?
Well, I mean, I get it. Yeah.
Anyway, so she wanted to, be this martyr, for
crusader.
everybody.
And she wanted to be the crusader against pit bulls. For sure.
Pit bulls in the neighborhood, because
Right.
obviously she had a lab, and we had a pitty, and so that was the crux of it. And so again, we spent a year and a half. Our dogs were not dangerous. It was completely ridiculous. When it finally got to court, the judge was like, "This is ridiculous," and threw it out, and we won. But it took a year and a half. It took financial, financial resources
emotional
and tolls,
toll.
and it was we spent a lot. So I understand the anger that can come with that. Now, it doesn't give a lot of the details about what happened with this dog, what he did. He had previously bitten or hurt somebody. So, I do say
The dog
that
had a history, in other words.
or something happened, and maybe
Yeah.
the dog was off leash or whatever, and we know that that's a bad thing. And I
Right.
think, again, I'm not siding with this guy. I guess I just understand it, the complete frustration. And, we went through that even with the HOA, where they didn't even talk to us. They didn't even question us. They didn't even find out what happened. They just told us to get rid of our dogs.
They stamped it.
And
yeah,
I was
right.
like, whoa, so we had to do that
That was
hearing.
a separate fight, right?
So I totally get, why people would be so frustrated that they would end up doing this. Obviously, it was horrific. He didn't, need to kill the guy and his 11-year-old daughter.
yeah, it's
I mean,
ridiculous.
it's but I'm sure he killed this. He probably just, I don't know. Maybe he's just shooting or whatever, but he also killed himself. So, everybody died that day.
He should have started there.
He should have started there.
And then did these other things.
What I thought was really interesting about this story is that that they don't talk about what breed the dog is, which leads me to believe
Wasn't a pit bull then?
that it wasn't a pit bull.
Because he didn't mention it. It's not a pit bull.
Because had that been a pit bull, we would have heard about it. Or
Right.
maybe they were just focusing on this story. And as I'm just rereading it, apparently he just fired gunshots into the home. So maybe that's how he hit the little girl. But either way, it was just
Extremely
a
sad.
very, very sad. Oh, actually, I lie. Here it is. It was a bull mastiff named Roxy. Sorry, bit a neighbor. So they do say it. But I just think it's really interesting they didn't focus
on the
that
breed.
bite.
Right.
And I guess he was fined $500, and that's what really for failure to safely confine a dog in a fence. So anyway, that's when he went over and shot him. And
That's crazy.
it is so crazy that people will resort to that. But but again, people get frustrated. Anybody who has a bully breed knows that we have to be better than everybody else, both the dog and the humans. And you and I are both
Yeah,
working
we talk
on
about that all the time.
because we're not as good as
Right.
our dogs. Our
Right.
dogs are better than us. So that's one thing we talk about in why we're so picky. We talked about Risa and Doogie here a little while ago. The reason we're so picky is because I can't just hand any one of them over to somebody, because they have to be on it. They have to realize that if anything does happen, they're going to be in a very bad position, and so is the dog. And we really try very hard not to put our dogs in harm's way.
Right, and I think the reason why we're hard on people, it's not that these dogs are dangerous, but it's kind of like I equivocate it to having a Harley Davidson.
Right.
Harley Davidson, motorcycles are dangerous, okay? But there's mopeds, Vespas, right? And then a Harley Davidson, all these other bikes.
And scooters.
And scooters, all these other motorcycles in between. A bully breed dog is a Harley Davidson. And if you don't want to learn how to ride it correctly, then don't get a Harley Davidson.
Right, because you're going to hurt yourself and other people.
Right, and that's why you have to be better.
Exactly. And it's funny because one of the people who was involved said that it was there's an anger management problem in our society. Maybe you and I are both hotheads. We're gotten so much better, maybe because we're older,
We're older.
mellowing.
We're older.
But I do think that when you push people and you keep pushing them and they retaliate, I think I'm always surprised that people are surprised, because it's
Especially during COVID right now. Everyone's a little bit flared.
Right, and this did
More
happen
than
in
usual.
July, and it did happen in Florida. But I just think you have to, maybe I go back to our neighbor came over and she wanted us to get rid of our dogs, which I thought was completely unfair. Because yes, a human did get bit, and we to this day we don't know what dog bit her. It could have been their lab, it could have been one of our dogs. We don't know because we didn't see the bite happen.
Right.
And it wasn't that big of a bite. I mean, it wasn't that bad of a bite. A bite is bad. Yes, we quarantined our dogs just because we had to. That's the law. We abided by the law. My dogs have never bit anybody else before or since, so I don't believe that happened. But whatever. We abided by the law. But I think you, as neighbors, instead of just immediately and her dog was the one that was off leash in our yard.
Right.
So that's
Right.
the thing. That's what started it, and that's a part of the reason why we won, and also because we showed that all the dogs got beat up. So it wasn't like her dog was innocent, but it wasn't even about that. I mean, we could have settled this easily. The dogs, we would have made sure the fence would have been, fixed, and so he couldn't have gotten in our yard, all of those things. But she just went on this crusade, and suddenly she was, Joan of Arc, Anita, and that she was just going to make our lives miserable. Like I said, it wasn't enough to call animal control. It wasn't, which is fine. That legally needed to be done.
Right.
So that's fine. But it wasn't enough to go to the HOA. It wasn't enough to go to the media. She just kept going and going.
Oh, it was
And
nasty.
There was a lot of times where if she was out in my yard, I would have pummeled her. I don't think I would have shot
You
her.
still talk about
but
it.
Yeah, I'm still pissed
She's in
off.
her-
And this was in 2013 or something?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
So I get the frustration is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying this man wasn't right. It was horrific that, these people died over this stupid dispute, because he should have had his dog on a leash, should have had it contained, right?
But it wasn't the first time either.
I'm not sure
So-
about that.
No, I remember reading it wasn't the
It
first
wasn't the first time. Okay, well, fair enough. Again, but it's the guy's fault, right? Not the dog's fault.
No,
So,
for sure.
Anyway.
I think, did Miss Nicole have a question?
Oh, Nicole, I don't know.
No, she
Oh,
didn't.
we need to
Okay.
wrap it up, I
Oh,
think.
okay, wrap it
Okay, so
up.
I think we've beat this horse, to death, which I
Well-
hate that saying. But
Well, you could. What kind of horse owner
I know,
are you?
I know.
Well, for sure, we could go on and on about. There's a lot. Whenever you're involved in a dog biting situation, it's always a combination of the dog's not getting worked enough.
Yep.
It's a dog behavior problem. it's a property question.
It's the human's fault.
Well, for sure. You know, to all cards on the table, you know, this never would have happened had I been I'm a typical lazy guy and I didn't fix our gate when I should have.
Right.
Had I fixed the gate, this doesn't happen.
He couldn't have gotten in.
Yeah, this doesn't happen.
And that wouldn't have happened. But
anyway,
we know that. That's why we say you have to be on it.
Right.
And again, very sad story, but
well, we're going to end on a downer.
we're not going to end on a downer because we did get Risa and Doogie
Okay,
in the right home.
We're back. We're back on top.
We did save
All right.
and adopt out many dogs in July, and we're
did.
excited about that. So thank you for joining us. We are excited to be here again. We're back after
3 weeks off.
3 weeks off. But anyway, thank you for listening. And
Yeah, please tune in, subscribe for the love of dog. Thank you, PJ. Thanks for loving the new studio. Yeah.